welcome to my channel. I'm so glad you're here with me today. And let's talk. So, last week we talked about some of the issues we may be facing based on, lack of not understanding ourselves, right? And I touched based on, if you can go back to my old last week's video and watch, because it's about 3 of them. We talked about 3 different issues: why you zone out, why you feel confused, why you feel lonely, right? And I kind of touched base on why that is and how you can work on those, right? But today I want to talk more in depth about how you may work on self-development, because self-development is going to be one of the greatest work you will do in life, and your best project yet, okay? And it's going to be a work of a lifetime. Let me tell you that. It's a work of a lifetime, so you'll never run out of work, and you'll never not have a thing to do or a job, okay? Because your number one job is taking care of yourself, not just financially, or not just physically, but also mentally and spiritually and emotionally, right? In your emotions, right? So these are things that you're gonna do for a lifetime. It's not gonna be a one-time, done type of deal, It's ongoing. So let's talk a little bit about that. Now, self-work, it's something that you would do every day of your life, step by step, okay? But in order to start doing this type of work, you have to be willing to keep yourself accountable, okay? Accountable, you have to be willing to keep yourself focused on your goals and your plans, which is to get to know yourself on a deeper level. You have to be willing to be brutally honest with yourself. You have to be willing to face yourself, okay? And sometimes, actually, that may be the scariest thing you will do, because you have to be willing to also It's literally every thought you have, every word you may speak, every interaction you may have, every situation you may encounter, right? Where you have to stay on top of yourself and observe yourself. But eventually it gets easier because just like, learning a new habit, like for example, when you go into a new destination and you have to drive to this destination every day, for a few weeks or even a month, you're going to use the GPS to go to this place, especially when it's of a distant drive, right? And not around the corner, but let's say 40-minute drive and there are a couple turns, okay? Like a few turns, okay? You're gonna have to use the GPS to get to this place, but eventually you'll learn and you'll automatically do it. And sometimes if you do it for like a few months, you don't even think about it. Like you're just driving and you see yourself there, right? So creating a new habit with yourself, understanding a new way of yourself is the same thing. At first, you're gonna have to use the GPS, okay? Which is the GPS is you staying on top of your mind and redirecting your mind every time, right? Every second, and every word it chooses, and every thought it picks up, whether it's quietly in your mind or out loud out your lips, or in the emotions, staying on top of your emotions constantly through every situation you encounter, right? Through every thought that pops up in your mind and creates an emotion in your body, you have to stay on top of them, okay? And redirect it, okay? But eventually what happens is it becomes easier for you. And you'll start to do it like automatically, like without even thinking about it. You'll learn to manage your emotion in a certain situation where at first you have to redirect yourself and say, no, wait, why am I feeling this way? Wait, what's the best way for me to respond to this? You're going to automatically know, like, this is not worth a reaction, okay? Without even having to say. At first you'll have to say that to yourself, but eventually you won't have to, right? And so it gets easy that way, okay? So you have to stay on top of yourself, and you have to be honest with yourself. So like when you have for example, if a situation make you feel some type of way, it's easy for your mind to try to make an excuse for yourself. So you're not just staying on top of the emotion that you're feeling if you feel though the emotions are unnecessary. Okay, and even if they're necessary, you have to be able to filter it in such a way. You have to stay on top of it so that you can filter it in such a way that you get more out of it as far as understanding it and as far as understanding the situation and why you are reacting the way you're doing to it. Okay, that's going to help you understand yourself in more depth, right? Not only that you're staying on top of your emotion, but your mind is going to be going at the same time too. It's gonna try to give you reasoning to why you feel the way you do, and like most of the time, if not all the time, it's gonna validate your feelings, right? It's gonna tell you why you feel that way because this is how they're behaving, or this is what they say, or this is what happened, and you have the right to feel that way. But you have to stay on top of your mind too, okay? You have to stay on top of your thought and the emotions. They're kind of like hand in hand, right? Because your thoughts create your emotions, right? And sometimes when your thoughts create your emotion, then your emotion create more thoughts. You see? So you gotta stay on top of that. Okay? You gotta be able to stay on both of them. So being willing to work, always working on yourself, always staying on top of yourself, recognizing that this is an ongoing work that you'll have to do with yourself. Even as you get better, you want to remind yourself to get even better. There's always room to grow. Like people age, but After a while, what is a number? The body might be growing old, but the mind is the same, right? So you have to exercise your mind as far as to grow your mind, not your body. So your mind is always growing. Your body may not always be growing, right? So you always have time to grow, okay? So understand that it's going to be an ongoing work that you're doing with yourself. Be willing to accept that, okay? Be willing to face yourself brutally, like brutally honest with yourself, okay? Whether it makes you feel good about yourself or bad about yourself, okay? You have to be willing to dig within yourself deep enough to pull out those things that you not only hide from other people, but also from yourself, okay? You have to be willing to understand and accept that there are many paths to you that you're going to be working on, that you're going to be trying to redefine, recreate, okay? Not just one, okay? You have to be willing to understand that you are here to take care of yourself, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally, and that is also your responsibility, just like taking care of yourself physically and financially is, okay? It's not in other people's hands. Your emotions and your thoughts have nothing to do with your surrounding. It's to do with how you are viewing and how you choose to respond to it, okay? You have to be willing to accept that. That is sometimes actually of this path, when you're on this path, that is one of the hardest things, because we have been so accustomed to blaming our situation and everybody else around us when it comes to our emotions and our outlook in life, that it's just easier, and it's just, we make it like it's common sense, you know? But you have to be willing to understand that that's not it, and I'm going to be responsible for how I respond to things mentally and emotionally, okay? If you are already a strong person, you're only going to be much more stronger, okay? And if you don't feel strong within yourself, this is going to make you feel stronger than you have ever been. And the better you get at it, the more stronger you'll feel within yourself and secure, okay? So I hope those tips helped you. I hope that I can get you to shine just a little bit more brighter within yourself. I love you, beautiful people. I love feeding you, and I love to eat from you. So don't you be afraid to comment. Go ahead and subscribe if you love my channel and what I have to say. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up. I love you, beautiful people, and I always, always, always here for you. Bye, beautiful people.